Hello, everybody. On Friday, Trump gave a speech to farmers. Of course, he had to bring up his favourite subject again, the ballroom. He loves construction so much that he just had to mention it again. What was he talking about? Well, that's what I'm going to read to you. Of course, I'll put on my serious face again because what Trump is talking about is really very serious. Let me know what you think in the comments, not about my serious face again. You know, while I'm up here, I'm looking around. I love construction. And you see all those nice caterpillars and John Deere. We have a lot of John Deeres. That's a big dig. And we're building a ballroom for 150 years. They've wanted every president said, "Could we have a ballroom, please? A room where you could have a lot of people." So when the president of China, France, when somebody comes over from the UK, including the king, we have the king coming over very shortly, King Charles. So we can have like a large room because the White House is incredible, but it was never had a ballroom. And we're building. That'll be the finest ballroom anywhere in the world when it's completed. And I'm just looking at the construction. In fact, if you don't mind, I'll walk over there and look for a little while. Then I'll come back and I'll continue to speak. I love construction. I love building beautiful things. But you're going to have something very, really tremendously. I was in Iowa recently. I met a man who was the chairman of John Deere, great company. And I asked him, I said, "Could I ask you a question? We cut a lot of the restrictions, almost all of them on cars. What have we done for tractors and trucks and different things that you use on the farms?" He said, "Sir, they never got to us. They never did that." I said, "Well, we're going to have to." That was about 2 months ago. We've worked very hard and, Lee is working on that. It's a top priority. I told him, Lee, Zeldin, a top priority. So when you buy a tractor today, you spend 50% of your time fixing the environmental impact statement garbage that's on the tractor. In fact, I buy a lot of things that having to do with farm equipment, where I own clubs and other things, and I used to. I said, "Give me 10-year-old equipment. Do you have any 10-year-old equipment that hasn't been used yet?" And whenever they had it, I would buy it, because it was much better than the new stuff which has so much environmental nonsense on it that it ends up costing thousands of dollars more to produce, and it doesn't work well. Too complicated. And then you'll get somebody that is a farm worker, and he's looking at heavy computerized environmental equipment, and you have where the tractor will turn off if the environmental equipment isn't working. Was an automatic turn-off. It did absolutely nothing for the environment. It cost you $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a machine. And to save fuel, many of you are working over massive deposits of fuel to save 1/4 of a glass of fuel. This much, just a little bit, they'll have 2 extra computers in it that never worked. And I said to the head of John Deere, "Is this a good thing or a bad thing?" He said, "Sir, you have no idea how bad it is. It's made our tractors so complicated. You have to need a major degree from MIT in order to turn on a tractor. We want to go back to the old way, sir." And I said, "I agree with you 100%. And we are working very hard and very quickly to get rid of the horrible chains placed on tractor suppliers. That's a beautiful tractor. That's a gold tractor. Somebody had me in mind. What's that all about? That's a hell of a tractor. I'm looking at this. That's a good one too. Red, white, and blue. But somebody really hit me with that one. That's beautiful. But, so we are going to be Lee, I think we can say. I know you're in the process cutting out massive amounts of nonsense that are mandated to be put on your tractors and all of your trucks. That cost you a fortune. And I know that they're going to do this. Okay, this concludes my reading about the farmers. Trump is, of course, golfing again at Mar-a-Lago, so he'll probably be quiet this weekend, unfortunately. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.